Have you ever met someone who says very little, but somehow makes everyone in the room wonder what they're thinking? That's the strange thing about Scorpio personalities. The more silent they become, the more attention they seem to attract. And here's the paradox. People often assume Scorpio individuals are cold, distant, or difficult to understand. But what if the opposite is true? What if they're simply feeling more than they reveal? Imagine being in a group conversation. Everyone is laughing, talking, sharing stories. One person sits quietly, observing, not because they don't care, not because they're shy, but because they're watching everything. The tone in someone's voice, the hesitation before an answer, the expression that appears for half a second and disappears. Many people focus on words. Scorpio personalities are often believed to focus on what happens between the words. That's why they can sometimes appear intense. Not because they're trying to intimidate anyone, but because they naturally pay attention to emotional details others overlook. And that creates an interesting psychological pattern. Most people feel comfortable showing different versions of themselves, depending on the situation. A social version, a professional version, a private version. But Scorpio personalities often have a strong desire to discover what's underneath all those layers. They don't always trust appearances. They trust consistency, and that's where many misunderstandings begin. People may see their caution as suspicion, their silence as judgment, their distance as lack of interest, when in reality, they're often trying to determine whether a connection is genuine. Now imagine a completely fictional scenario. Someone starts a new job. During the first few weeks, they keep conversations short. They don't immediately share personal details. While others quickly form friendships, this person remains reserved. Some coworkers assume they're unfriendly. Others think they're hiding something. But months later, when a difficult situation hits the team, that same person becomes the one everyone trusts. Why? Because while everyone else was focused on being liked, they were focused on understanding people. This reflects a trait often associated with Scorpio psychology. Trust is rarely given instantly. But once it's earned, loyalty can become incredibly powerful. And that's what many people don't realize. The Scorpio personality is often less interested in temporary attention and more interested in emotional certainty. They may not open every door, but when they do, they're usually inviting someone into a space they protect very carefully. The fascinating thing is that their greatest strength and greatest challenge often come from the same place, their emotional depth. Because the deeper someone feels, the harder it becomes to ignore betrayal, dishonesty, or emotional inconsistency. And that's where the story becomes even more interesting. One of the biggest myths about Scorpio personalities is that they enjoy control. But beneath that perception is often something far more human. The desire for emotional security. Think about it. When people have experienced disappointment, misunderstanding, or broken trust, they often become more careful, not weaker, more observant. Many Scorpio individuals are believed to approach relationships this way. Before investing emotionally, they want to know where they stand. Before revealing vulnerability, they want reassurance that it won't be used against them. And that creates another contradiction. They may appear fearless on the outside, yet secretly guard some of their deepest emotions. Strong, yet sensitive, and confident, yet deeply aware of emotional risks. This hidden contrast is what makes them so difficult to categorize. Imagine another fictional scenario. Someone spends years appearing composed and independent. Friends admire their confidence. Co-workers respect their calm attitude. Everything looks under control. But what nobody notices is how much energy they spend protecting their inner world. Not because they're pretending, but because they believe some emotions deserve privacy. The interesting psychological truth here is that not everyone expresses emotions by talking about them. Some people express emotions by protecting them. And Scorpio personalities are often associated with this pattern. What looks like emotional distance may actually be emotional intensity operating behind closed doors. Perhaps that's why people either feel deeply connected to them or completely confused by them. There's rarely a middle ground because depth tends to create strong reactions. And depth is difficult to understand from the surface. The deeper lesson isn't really about Scorpio personalities at all. It's about human nature. Many people spend their lives trying to be understood. Others spend their lives trying to understand. And Scorpio energy is often described as belonging to the second group. Watching, analyzing, feeling. Searching for what's real beneath what's visible. Not because perfection exists, but because authenticity matters. Maybe that's why they leave such a strong impression on people. Not through constant attention, Not through endless words, but through presence. The kind of presence that makes people feel seen. And sometimes, being truly seen can feel more powerful than being admired. So the next time someone appears mysterious, quiet, or emotionally guarded, the real question may not be what they're hiding. The real question may be how much they're noticing. Because sometimes the deepest people aren't the ones speaking the most. They're the ones silently understanding what everyone else missed. And maybe that's the psychology that makes Scorpio personalities so unforgettable.